right, hey, I'm Ray Phoenix. Got a lot of different names, a lot of aliases. Also, Oskrunk Tesla, Dory Down Ichiban, a lot of different names. But I generally go by Oskrunk. And let me find the slide. Here we go. I made mine so it just plays out like a movie, so I don't have to worry about time. Let's wait for the resolution to kick in for the V720 maybe. 1080. There we go. Great. Very important. So let's bring this back. Okay. So in 1999, I invented a system of notation for DJ music called the turntablist transcription methodology, and that is a system of using calculus, trigonometry, to calculate the movements, the physical movements of a turntablist of DJs. And since then, it's been featured in a lot of different outlets, things like that. And over the past 15, 16 years, I've been revising it, and also as far as archiving, DJs are already scratching and they're using, archived found material in the first place. But what I've been doing is cataloging all the techniques, and I created the periodic matrix of scratches, over like over 900 different scratches within that, different DJ techniques, and then I also created a fatalist matrix of like maybe over about 1,400 different possibilities that you can, physical possibilities that you can do with, with the turntable without a crossfader. And that's basically going into just physics in general. So I've more recently come to call that aggregationism, and just kind of bringing everything together and making that its own art movement itself. And this is the TTM character ASCII set. That's a TTF font that I'm working on. The Kickstarter people already paid for it, so I got to get that to them by the spring. And this is DJ Qbert, one of the best DJs in the world, teaching by notation. DJs all over the world are teaching it. It's the only new musical notation language that's actually being taught in schools. That was a place in some guys in Hong Kong teaching it. And there was also, I had a brief, I'm going to go really fast because I got a lot of information, brief periodical in Scratch Magazine. This is actually a score of Rocket, James Brown, and right now this is CSI. You can turn the music on.
The graph represents sounds, right?
Let me bring it back.
Call it TTM. Yeah, they chart this.
Okay, great.
Listen to the message on Banner's voicemail.
Yeah, they chart this stuff like music. They call it TTM.
Turntablist transcription methodology. The graph represents sound, right?
And this is one of my newer inventions. It's a BPM. It's actually a BPM protractor, so you can tell the speed of a vinyl from that. This is a project I'm working on with Kesh. She's an American Apparel designer. A new movie that I'm working on. This is Busy P hooked me up 2009. I did a music video for him. I did a couple of music videos for Ed Banger Records. But but meanwhile, I've done all this stuff. I'm a polymath, and they cast me as a felon in Law and Order. and then also, Vice magazine, they cast me as, as typically as black males, associating people's sexuality and stuff like that. That was a museum that I actually started, the Williamsburg Museum of 21st Century Art in 2010, and that's Santa Gold playing in there. I had it, one of the biggest screens in Williamsburg, in Brooklyn in general. This is Skater Girl. This is my first full-length movie. This is Little B the Bass Scout. We collaborated, and he got me to be really prolific. I actually got him to start releasing a lot of videos because he came through my studio in 2009. And let me pause this right here. And so, like in 2009, I was like, "Hey, Little B, you should, release drop a lot of videos." Because at the time, he had dropped over like maybe 5,000 MP3s, like 5,000 songs. He had over 100 MySpace pages, each with like 5 different songs on it. So I was like, "Hey, you start dropping videos." He did 100 videos in one year in like 2010, and that's when things really took off for him. So then he's influenced me as well as getting into the meme art. But I as far as meme art, I stayed within the base kind of meme art, memeism or whatever. But as far as screenshotism is something I kind of developed myself. A lot of it started with me trying to protect my actual my intellectual property from other people and just clearing up things like that, clearing up the truth. But then I just took it as art level, and this is my fine art stuff. You can if you guys are looking at to buy this, all this stuff is for sale. I'm gonna talk fast like an auction house person. And yeah, so this is this playing? Okay, great, it's playing. So yeah, these are some just more some of my newer stuff that has nothing to do with lectures or education like that. It's more of you know, just more of the aesthetic based and color based. But most of my art is actually different lectures. I've got over 100 different lectures, maybe over 200 different lectures, over 50 different, over 2 million views on YouTube, maybe 7 different main YouTube sites. So I have a lot of different satellites, and they're all working together. And you know, my music's there. You know, I pretty much do everything. But this, you know, this is a on canvas version of the 9 senses. I actually incorporated the 5 senses within that. So back to lecturism. This is the stuff that's on my. I started a school called TTM Academy, and on that school I teach the history of notation because school erased everything. They don't teach me any of these things. There's Tibetan notations. There's all these things that came before Western notation that they teach us in school. You know, the Eurocentric philosophy. But this is an Egyptian notation that Teresa Sauer actually released in her book Notations 21, and that book's like, if you try to buy it now, it's like $500, $800,000 on the internet. And also all the information is hidden from everybody, you know, but I'm releasing all the hidden information. I've been releasing that to all my students. So you got the history of the holograms, you got the MIA holograms, Tupac holograms. Before that was Camera Obscura, you know, all these things that I didn't learn in school. Because I really feel like I didn't learn that much in school. In the past, you know, 10 years of just being on the internet, I feel like I've learned more than I learned my whole schooling career. You know, I graduated from NYU in 2001. So yeah, this is a book, a compilation of all those, all the different histories of everything before, you know, really before the 20th century. And so yeah, these are more of my diagrams as well, more of my lectures. We've got the digital Yoruba system, and these are the early Ogham scripts, you know, the African presence in Ireland before, you know, or just the Nordic region before Europeans colonized in like 4,500 years ago. And these are like different notations, so from around the world. So these are dance notations from the 1600s, you know, and even fencing notations. So most of my screenshotism is connected with lectures, and so you see this is animation, history of animation, taking you back to you know, wall art, cave art, and people drawing, you know, the 4th dimension of a tiger running. So then we get to modern notation. So my contemporaries, or not contemporaries, but I'll get to contemporary in a second, but this is Tesla, and you know, we're moving into the 20th century, you know, out of that. And this is just a recent Tesla find, and this is some of my mathematics before that, that's kind of, you know, in the same vein, that it's kind of similar to Zemeckis and, you know, bridging architecture and notation, and all these different types of, you know, there's hundreds of different types of notation systems. When you go to school and all you learn is just, you know, just one. This is actually Kurt Vonnegut. You know, he actually did this as his his school dissertation, and they rejected it. And he made a system of notation of the person, of a protagonist's fortune over time, the change in fortune over time. So like one of those graphs with Cinderella. This is analyzing nodes, notation with Jean-Michel Basquiat. You know, different things like that. So it's always relating it back to notation and the mathematics and the physics behind my system. And you know, we got here Stockhausen. You know, he's got, you know, such amazing work. And this is Ishi Yanagi. You can actually see some of his stuff at MoMA right now, actually. They got one hidden in the DJ section. One of those is in there. But the funny thing is, you know, Pinterest, all these things, I find so much more information, you know, just out there in the net and through social media than anywhere else in any library. This is, you know, one of my newer drawings, but this is just me presenting people and teaching them about what FM synthesis is or what FM means. This is, you know, so these are, I go into mathematic things, I can go anywhere with screenshotism, where it's going from fine art all the way to pure lecturism, but all of this is kind of taking the subjectivity out of the art world, because for me, it's like, I've kind of drawn a line. This is actually Maria Chavez. She's a great turntablist doing just deconstruction, and this is DJ Swamp doing pyrotechnics, and I've done, you know, lectures on them. So I do lectures on my contemporaries, people from way back, from anywhere in history, and then also going back to the present. And screenshotism is a great way to be able to expose people. Like this is A-Track. He tried to actually appropriate my system and actually tried to steal it in like 2000. But I exposed him, and you know, he goes to his press release. He still tells magazines, you know, that he invented it. But you know, this is some kid. He got a grant for copying my exact designs, you know, and I sent him a cease and desist, they take all this stuff down. So I'm my own legal team, I'm also, you know, pro se litigant, and yeah, I've had to become everything. And this is, you can also use it for correction. This is me correcting a kid in France, some of the nation. And this is Macklemore stealing my style. I'm wearing the exact same sweatshirt that I got from the thrift shop. Granddad's. It might have been my granddad's. I don't But yeah, so in closing, I think the people, I think just as with any history and interaction, the people own, you know, digital social memory, and we all own it. But I feel like, you know, of course, designers, they own their own designs, but, you know, the people in general still have the rights to it. And also, last thing I was going to say is, yeah, Richard Prince. You might not even notice, you know, Richard Prince, I got a couple of samples of his stuff within that, the pop screenshot section that you saw. There's some little bits of his stuff that's actually in there. I was actually doing my stuff before Richard Prince. And the funny thing is that Mia's not here, but I actually was like, hey, could you holler at the Guggenheim Gallery about the stuff that I'm doing? And she's like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll holler at them. And then she didn't holler at them. And then like a month later, they're like, oh, Richard Prince, but I got the screenshot of the actual email. So, all right, so I'll catch y'all later. All right,
Thank you.